Well, good morning, everybody. It's me, Mitch. It's Tuesday, September 3rd. Wow. Labor Day's over. Back to work for those of you that work. For me, just another day. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch. Drink it if you got it. You may notice no sun yet. In fact, it's 20 minutes to 7. I'm a little early this morning. Got a busy day ahead of me. Need to get to Sam's Club first thing in the morning. There's things that I've just run out of, and I dread going to Sam's Club over holiday weekends when they have sales because it's going to be too damn crowded. So I figure, well, I can wait till Tuesday morning, but I've got to do that. I've got to edit this and get it posted. Got a plan for my live stream tonight. And I want to talk to you a little bit today about the new series of videos I'm going to do that I kind of hinted yesterday morning. No cigars this morning. That's generally just a leftover for the Monday thing where usually ends up being some kind of a rant and just seems appropriate. So let me look at my notes here because I've been a busy boy and still haven't come up with a title. But what I'm going to be doing, in case you didn't see this yesterday, I was thinking about writing a book. I wrote a book called Taming the Beast Within 22 plus years ago. I published my book, never did all that well. I thought it was a great book. I'm not a great author. Some people really thought it was brilliant. Other people thought it was stupid. That's on your point of view. But it was real. And even back then, I was a realist, trying to figure out how things work, where things came from, and the whys, especially of our behavior. Most of what I wrote, if not all of it, I still believe. I haven't discovered anything to change my mind. I wrote a couple chapters on diet, and the diet of the time was more low carb based around the zone diet at a lot higher percentage of fruits and vegetables, but it still was about a 30-30-30 diet. It was about 30% protein, 30% fat, and about 30% carbs. And it was based on whole foods. So yes, it was more like a Mediterranean diet, and it was infinitely better than what we Americans eat these days. A lot has changed, and my opinions about diet have certainly changed as well in the past 22 years. But other than that, all of the stuff that I learned about biology and archaeology and anthropology and evolution and evolutionary biology and cellular biology, I've just added to. But that stuff hasn't changed. It's still the same biology, the same history, the same anthropology that most doctors on the planet today are actually taught in their first year of medical school, which they quickly forget once the propaganda starts to be taught to them. Somewhere back in their minds, they've got to remember. Maybe they're just too busy for that typing into their little computers to make sure that there isn't a thing about us that isn't recorded somewhere. I thought about writing another book. I actually started to write this book before I started doing carnivore on YouTube. I only got the introduction written, a few brief beginnings of chapters, when I decided that I think YouTube for me would be a better way to get my message out based on the success of how many of my previous books actually got sold on Amazon, and how to have to market a book be way beyond my means, but yet YouTube is a way to actually create and grow a vehicle to get your message out without putting out tens of, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in publicity. I have been waiting for Ken Berry's next book for a year now. And he's been talking about it for a year. I think it's going to be titled the PhD, the Perfect Human Diet. And he makes jokes about how much work it is. It's not a joke. It's an incredible amount of work. And I think Ken would kind of back me up when I say anybody who thinks it's something you can do even in a month, to write, edit, rewrite, re-edit, rewrite, re-edit, all the artwork involved, then the publicity involved. You can't do it in a month. You're lucky you can do it in a year. So I said, I really have a lot to say, a lot of in-depth, down the rabbit hole observations and insights. You've seen them in my videos. I've made 400 plus videos already in the past year about carnivore. I've proven to myself that a lot of what I say actually is helpful to so many of you who write in the comments, who have become very, very loyal followers and friends. It's working for me. First time in my life I have ever sustained health and weight loss for any more than a few months after I succeeded on any one of the many diets I've been on and reached my goal. Took me until age 75 to actually discover that what had been throwing me off all my life was carbohydrate addiction. Took me time to learn how real this addiction is. It took me time to discover that not only is this addiction real, this addiction is the most powerful addiction that we have. Took me a long time to learn how the biochemistry and the subconscious aspect of addiction actually controls us. Took me a while to learn why carbohydrate addiction was such an important tool to the survival of our species over its evolution for some 2 to 3 million years. And all this time I keep learning more and more and having more and more thoughts, and I came up with my opinion today. And it's what I use to mold the techniques that enabled me to start at 75 years old and virtually change my life and my health. And it was one thing I had to do: cure my carbohydrate addiction. Now, when you look at all addictions, we're not doing too well. We're not curing too many alcoholics or people with gambling addictions or drug users or prescription drug opiate users, where our track record sucks. It's even worse with carbohydrate addiction, as evidenced by the focus that we have as a society on looking good and losing weight. The weight loss programs, the amount of time and energy we spend in gyms killing ourselves, the focus on health every day on the morning news more and more, the increasing profits and control of the drug companies and big food, the propaganda, the enormous propaganda. We are a sugar society. Our society, as well as the humans in it, are powered by sugar in all its forms, whether it be grains, bread, pasta, Coca-Cola, high fructose corn syrup, or the other 65 different names they have for sugar, to hide the fact from you that everything you're putting into your mouth that is not protein and is not fat is sugar, is carbohydrate, and all carbohydrates are sugars. Sorry. They are metabolized as sugars. Most of them are converted to glucose early on in the digestive process. They don't want you to know that. They want you to be concerned only with added sugars. So I've got all this information in my head. I got enough to fill up a big book. I keep trying to put it out there. But when I look back at what I've been doing, I've been putting it out there in kind of an unorganized manner because I'm not a note taker. I'm not a script writer. I'm somebody who speaks off the top of my head. I get an idea and I can make a half-hour speech about it. And there's so many aspects to this. There's so many facets to the carnivore lifestyle. So many areas of your life that are going to change. So many different considerations to it. And even with all of that, it's still the absolute simplest no-brainer of a lifestyle. If you can grasp and understand, and most importantly, believe, if you can believe the basic reasons for why you do all these different things that I recommend. The hardest part, getting started. So I said, not this time, Mitch. This time, even my last book, I didn't have a plan. I sat down and started writing at a computer. A couple months later, I had a book. I never even had an outline for this book. It just flowed one chapter at a time out of my head. It's very, I think, disjointed and disorganized, but I still think it's brilliant. I try to put my thoughts on paper. Unfortunately, converting thoughts to words is tough. My thoughts happen at the speed of light. So do yours. Words take time. And while you're in the middle of writing this word, the word that comes out down the line might go away from your thoughts. That's why I've never been a good writer. And the only way I can be a good speaker is to shut off my conscious mind and let it flow from my thoughts right to my mouth. That's a blessing and a curse, I gotta tell you. This time I said, okay, I'm going to establish a framework for this series of videos. I haven't decided on a title yet, But it's going to be something along the lines of everything you need and want to know about carnivore, my journey, or something like that. But it'll be a clever title, something that'll catch your eye. I've come up with a few topics for chapters, and this, like a book, is going to be divided into chapters. Each chapter is going to be its own video. Before I just sit down and start opening my mouth and talking like I'm doing right now, I will sketch out an outline of the points that I want to cover in each chapter. This is going to take me a lot more time to produce and edit and film than most of the videos that I do, which are very spontaneous, like this is. But I'm going to do that because I don't want to miss anything. There'll be no rush like there always is for me in a YouTube video to meet that deadline where YouTube says most of my viewers are online, to get something out every day, and to make it easier on me so that I can relax, put more thought, more forethought into these chapters of my video book, so to speak. I'm going to continue to do a morning vlog like this, just talking off the top of my head about what's happening. I'm going to continue with my 3 live streams. Tuesday night, tonight I've got one, Thursday for the private community, and Saturday at 3 o'clock. And that'll be 7 videos because there's no such thing as a weekend for the old guy. That'll be 7 vlogs, 3 live streams. And while I'm working on this, I call it an anthology. God, I hope it comes out well after all this. I'll probably do a cooking video or two or a walking video or two because I've got the time to do that. Something I can edit quickly and get out there. So you're going to still see me in the kitchen. You're going to see me out walking. You're going to see me here every morning. You're going to see me on my live streams. That's more than enough of me. Maybe too much for many of you, but watch what you want to. This is going to take at least, I can't see me finishing this whole series in less than a month or 2, and maybe longer. I think that's what Ken Berry said about his book a year ago. Should have it done in a month or 2. We embark on these ambitious, and this is an ambitious project, especially for me to do with no help, no editing help, no writers, no nothing, just me and my crazy mind. I'm going to go over a quick first draft of what some of these chapters are going to be about. I hope to keep each video under 30 minutes because it does take time. And I go into, as you know, rabbit hole explanations, technical sometimes, but I try to do these in simple language and understandable language so that maybe you can grasp the principles behind some of these incredibly complex biological functions. The first, I'll just read down this list for you now. Chapter 1, what does it mean to be a carnivore? Chapter 2, what can you eat if you're a carnivore? 3, why is it so hard to initially stay on a carnivore lifestyle and get through that first 30 days? Chapter 4, a thorough understanding of carbohydrate addiction. Chapter 5, the social implications of being a carnivore. Next chapter, how to shop economically as a carnivore. preparing carnivore meals simply, what medical conditions has the carnivore diet shown to either cure or reverse, weight loss considerations on a carnivore lifestyle, how long do I have to maintain a strict carnivore lifestyle, exercising as a carnivore, carnivore and aging, and last but not least, my favorite credible sources of information that I have relied on in my search to figure out how all this really works. It's going to be an ambitious project. It'll all end up in one playlist, which I'll promote. I'm hoping that this will become a legacy, what they call on YouTube, a legacy video. Not something that just gets a bunch of views and disappears forever, but a reference, a series of reference videos from A to Z, covering pretty much everything that I've covered in 400 previous videos of mine, in enough detail and with enough explanation to really be a helpful reference, like so many books are. If it works, if it's accepted, maybe then I'll transpose the entire series into print form and create a book. It's an ambitious project. I've got plenty of time, thanks to carnivore. So, wish me luck. Wish me luck. I'll be talking about it on Monday morning, among other things. I may be talking about some of the work I'm doing on Monday morning. I might talk about some of the direction that I'm going in. But I'm going to take you along for the ride in creating this series. If it works and it comes out good, it'll be well worth it. If it doesn't work, it'll still have been worth it. It's not easy to take everything in your head and figure out a vehicle with which to put it out there. I think this might work for me. So wish me luck, my friends. Happy Tuesday. Back to work. And while you're wishing me luck, take the rest of the day off and eat meat.